Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another video. This time, Skyrim. Console mods for your next playthrough. Now, if you're like me, I've been playing Skyrim on and off for the past however long. When did this come out? Like 2012? 2013? I've been playing this game for the past like 12 years on and off. Not every year, but every once so often I get the urge to have a playthrough. And, sometimes I play vanilla without mods. Sometimes I'm going to play with mods, right? And here I just want to show you my favorite mods, or at least the best ones in my opinion. Um, and to start it off by saying, you should probably get the anniversary edition because you get some mods, basically added as part of this, creation club by default. So they add a little bit additional like quests and like weapons and armors, which is pretty cool. Um, as you can see here, like this is actually added by Bethesda themselves. Um, so it's kind of cool. Like when you get the anniversary edition, by default, you get a few extra items. So check that out. I actually haven't played with these on yet, so I'm gonna, explore and take a look at this in my next new game. But in terms of the mods that I recommend, um, so for player weight or carry weight, there's like a small mod for this. Um, you know, Inventory isn't that as much of a headache as like Fallout, in this game because you have your companions, you have your house, you have like storage bins, all over the place where you can throw stuff in, which is kind of like Fallout 2, but there's towns where you can just dump stuff in, and like I don't think carry weight is as much big of a deal in this game, except you do make trips to sell all your stuff. So this can help if you want to just take all the loot out of a dungeon and sell it all at once. But yeah, that's what I typically use for carry weight. This I just added recently. Um, I didn't test this out yet, but what this says is it gives you every ingot you will ever need at 65,000 quantity. So that is helpful, but then you also got to level the skill, so it doesn't really solve like every problem with smithing, but at least give you the supplies that you need. Um, Big ultimate kills. I tried this once. I haven't tried it on a most recent playthrough, but it's just so unfortunately on the PS4 console, like there's limitations that Xbox players and PC players do not have in terms of editing the game. Like Sony just won't allow um, like free editing of everything in the game. So excuse me. So unfortunately, like these kind of mods that alter like graphics of the game or like gameplay of the game aren't anything too crazy, unfortunately, because Sony just won't allow it. So this says like big ultimate kills or whatever this thing is saying, but it's not going to be that crazy of a difference. And I wouldn't say this is something you necessarily require for an updated playthrough. This is just something you could test out. Better horses is something I added. So it says horses will have more stamina, travel quicker, render them essential, which I think is nice, and they will flee from combat. So it doesn't do too much, but it's just a nice quality of life that I thought would be helpful. Um, am I using this? No, I think I was just testing this out, so I don't recommend this better loot mod. I think I was just testing that out. I was also just testing this out where it upgrades like the vanilla perks for the game. So it says alteration added resistance bonuses to each new mastery perk, smithing added ability to temper Falmer. That's cool. Because that's those items you pick up from those dark elves. Heavy armor. Each Juggernaut stage now has bonuses for sets of increasing qualities of armor types. Interesting. Block. Each block mastery adds additional unarmed damage. So it's easy to become a brawler. Cool. Two-handed, more armor. This is actually kind of interesting. I mean, you know, the game is already kind of easy, but if you feel like some of the perks didn't do enough, I think this is cool. Maybe on a higher difficulty. Capable housecarls is definitely something I like to include, because basically, you know, you get housecarls very early, like Lydia. There's a lot of memes on Lydia, right? But basically, it makes them a little stronger, so they're not so useless the higher level you go. So they get a few more perks, and I think they could level up to is it 75? I forget what it said. Oh, 60 instead of 50, and they're essential, which I thought they were already essential, but then again, I think Lydia can die. So, yeah, there you go. I think this is handy if you like your housecarls. Connected player homes, I think this is great. It just basically connects all of the player homes together through like a door in the basement. So that's kind of cool. You don't have to like fast travel through the map. You could just fast travel through the basement. And they also added like, so if you read this at the bottom, it says the basement comes with a whole bunch of goodies, lots of storage space, alchemy lab, arcane enchanter, etc. So they kind of set up the basement with all like the tools that you would need. So it's not just the teleporting. You know, they set up some things for you in the basement, so you could save space in your actual house. So that's pretty cool, I think. I don't know why I added this mod, or I bookmarked this mod. I don't think this is really necessary for a good playthrough. I think one of these graphic mods is definitely something you should consider, especially if you're playing like on a PS5. This says PS4, but a graphical mod will definitely make your next playthrough enjoyable for sure. So there's like a few of them. I think there's another one on this bookmarked list. So if you check out one of these, it'll definitely make your next playthrough more enjoyable. Alternate start. This is definitely one I highly recommend for your next playthrough. Basically, I'll showcase this in the game because I actually just started a new playthrough. But basically, instead of going through the initial sequence, they start you off at this different area where you could choose, you know, like where you start off, and does this give you a faction choice? Yes. Start as a member of the Companions, College of Winterhold, Thieves Guild, Dark Brotherhood. So that's pretty cool. It gives you a faction choice and a location choice, which I think is really cool. See, look, even at the bottom, you can start as a vampire or as a werewolf. So it's really cool. Highly recommend this. No more dead followers. This is one of my personal favorites, because I hate how some of the companions could die. So this, if you're like me and you hate seeing your companions die, this is essential. Although it does break 2 quests, I'm not gonna really spoil anything. It kind of explains it at the end of this too, but this is really essential if you're like me and you hate seeing your, you know, follower from like Whiterun die because, you know, they can't hang in the last dungeon. So yeah, if you want to see all your followers survive, pick up this mod. Immersive citizens. I thought this was pretty cool. It kind of just gives them like better AI and like what they do in general. I think it's decent. Like, so what does this say? New and realistic behaviors, including improved schedules, occasional travel, better use and response to the world around them. So and then it says, for each city village, the number of unique conversations will be approximately doubled. So it just makes the world a little more interesting. And Skyrim is already in an interesting world, so this just kind of doubles down on that. So I recommend this mod. Immersive movement. I think this is just something I was trying out. I don't really recommend this necessarily, but if you're into this kind of thing, you should try it out. Insanity arrows. This is just another way to break the game. Um, Gives you like fear arrows, paralyze arrows, hello arrows, which does a lot of damage. So yeah, if you want to break the game, go nuts. But I don't recommend too many of these game breaking bugs, because it'll just kind of make the game boring, and not as fun. You won't like stick to the playthrough, but it's however you want to play the game, right? And then some of these guys have created some additional followers. I haven't fully tried this mod out, so I don't recommend it. But apparently it does work according to the messages on this, but I haven't fully vetted this out. Jewel weapon pack. I think this is just to give additional colors to the weapons. Juniper house for Ilya. This is something I specifically sought out because Ilya doesn't have anywhere to go after you like dismiss her. So if you like Ilya, pick this up. Otherwise, it's not really necessary. So yeah, this is another graphical overhaul that I was talking about earlier. So between the few that are on, if you just search in, so you use the search function, and you just type in like graphical mods. So just type in graphics, right? So yeah, there's plenty to choose from. So I think these two are the most popular, or is it just because I bookmarked them? Just check and see. You see at the top there's a number of bookmarks. Just pick the most popular ones because those are, and the one that has the most likes, because those are most probably the ones that most players have vetted out already. So yeah. Lore-based loading screens. I thought this was cool. Small addition. So if you play this game long enough, you know all the loading screens. So this just changes it up a little bit. So I think that's cool. Magical College of Winterhold. So I make a mage build on like every other game that I play of this, every other playthrough. So I think this was cool where they kind of upscaled the Winterhold College, just added some decorations and aesthetics to it. So I think this is pretty cool if you're into that. Marry almost anyone. So in Skyrim you can marry folks and they can stay in your house and give you food and a bonus when you sleep next to them. So if you want to marry someone that's outside of the limited number of people that you're allowed to in the game, then go for it. I tried this out, so I don't think I fully tested this yet, but as you can see, a lot of people have bookmarked it, so I think it's good to go. So enjoy if you like this kind of role playing in the game. And like I said, these graphical ones are a personal preference. This is just something I added because I like the vampire class, and this gives you one of their abilities for free. So this Fendrix Magic Evolved. I think I tested this on one playthrough. This thing is nuts. Like how I mentioned earlier that Xbox and PC players can't modify the game to that much of an extent, but this guy came up with some crazy stuff. Like, look at this, approximately 400 spells, new elemental archetypes, summon nearly every creature. I think this is like, if you're into mages and spells, this is really, really cool. Obviously you should probably play at a higher difficulty because you'll probably obliterate the enemies using this magic, But I tested this in one playthrough, and this is really really cool. You need both of these. So I think this is the obsolete one. I think you need to get part 1 and 2 now. I think that's just how it works. I think he just updated the mod, but I highly recommend if you're into spells in Skyrim. Like I said, the graphical ones is personal preference. Realistic conversations. I added this in my last playthrough. I didn't get to fully test it out, but as you can see, a lot of people bookmarked and liked it. So this kind of just makes the NPC's dialogue a little more realistic and interesting. So test it out if that's something you wanted to change up in your next playthrough. It's it's all personal preference at the end of the day, right? And resurrection, I highly recommend if you don't want your NPCs to end up dead because of a dragon or whatever, right? So then you could resuscitate any enemy, I guess, that's just not decapitated. So yeah, add this into your next playthrough if you're worried about your favorite NPCs dying. And that's really it. I mean, there's different, you know, other ones you could look into, like if you like vampires or I forget what this even is. Um, is this a playable class or? Sorry, but yeah, I added a few of these side mods that they're not really required for a good playthrough. This Great Cities one I think is worth a look. As you can see, a lot of people have bookmarked and liked it. Basically, this says this is a lore-friendly overhaul of Skyrim's minor cities and towns. So this guy did overhauls of Dawnstar, Dragonbridge, Falkreath, Morthal, Rorkstead, and Winterhold, and he just combined it all into this one mod. So yeah, if you played the game enough and you want to change it up with this overhaul, check it out. I think I had this on one playthrough. I thought it's like different. It's not too different, but it's enough to be noticeable. I honestly forget what this is. And this is something that was like a must-have, when I used to do modded playthroughs, because it says hundreds of gameplay, quest, NPC, object, item, text, and placing bugs fixed. So I don't know if this is still required. I think this is still like one of the basic things that you should add when you do a modded playthrough, because if you don't want to deal with the bugs that Bethesda never thought to fix, then this is what you should include. Otherwise, stick with the vanilla playthrough. And yeah, that's, like I said, there's other side mods that you can look into. Oh, faster leveling. I highly recommend this. Because as much as I love the game, I hate, excessive grinding that's not really required. So this boosts most skill leveling rate by 2.5. Lockpicking is boosted by 5.5. Speechcraft by 15.1. So yeah, if you're on your next playthrough and you don't want to grind, I highly recommend this one. Let me just take a quick look. I didn't fully vet this out, so don't quote me on this one. I think this Lamppost one is good, just because, in some areas it's just dark. So I think this is a nice one to add in your next playthrough. Rich merchants, I recommend this as well, because if you play this game enough, there's only a few merchants with like 2 to even 5,000 gold that you could just burn through. So this gives each vendor, I believe it says it right here, 10,000 gold. So yeah, I recommend this mod as well. So yeah, those are the basic ones you could use to make your gameplay and playthrough a little more enjoyable. Let me just jump into the quick start thing, just so I can show you how it looks. All right. So you just do the general character creation. So let's just skip through this. Let's name him prisoner. That's fine. And so as you can see here, let me put my weapon away. So you have different starts here. You have stranded and helpless, join a faction, start drinking in a tavern, or owning a property, which is usually the one I start with. And then also if you go down here, you could choose like which stone bonus, and then if you go around here, you could become a werewolf. Please turn me into a rampaging Helbies.
Until next time.
And then the coffin is how you become a vampire. So I wonder, can you go backwards? I guess not. Maybe you could get cured through the normal game methods. But let's pick one of these starts. Join a faction. Let's do this one because I never tried this one. Completed a drunken life. It's hysterical. So you could choose which tavern you started. Let's choose Solitude. All right. So this is my guy. This is my vampire. I was drinking in the tavern, and now I'm out here, and this is where you end up. In Solitude.
I have no business with you. Leave me.
Okay, buddy. So, oh, it's daylight. Then they give the option of survival mode. I say no.
Sorry, I need to pay attention so I can remember this.
Traitor.
So yeah, we're in Solitude. So
You betrayed us.
what?
Get on with it!
Anyway, oh, that's the scene
Traitor.
at the front. Anyway, I hope this helped you guys out. I hope to see you guys in the next video, and I hope you enjoy your next Skyrim playthrough. Take care, guys.